Trucks.
Today, we promised we'd do...
Hazardous.
I forgot to turn down the sound, no problem. It's fine. We promised we'd do something dangerous, and we're doing it. We've got fireworks in the back.
Let's see them. They're
dark.
Just... Alright. Into the light. Let's see those fireworks.
Yes.
It's just going to be a box, isn't it? It's just going to be a fucking box.
It looks like it looks very similar to the ammo, actually.
Does it have an... Oh, look at this.
It's the same as the ammo. Yeah. Might as well be ammo again.
I think it's fireworks in quotes. Is what we got here.
Yes, okay. So we're gun runners. We're actual gun runners this time.
That's very exciting. We're going to, do the bang bang shooty shoot.
Oh, by the way, we're taking it here. We're taking it to Cologne.
Cologne?
Cologne.
Kühn.
Okay. Cool, man. What's up, Isaac? How are you today?
I'm recovering slightly, Josh. I've had a cold. I've had some back problems. But I was prescribed some Ambien yesterday, and I slept pretty well last night.
Good.
I'm hoping that'll remain a thing.
Good. I slept at night for the first time in a while.
We're both. This is recorded during the afternoon. It's a rainy afternoon. Nice low-key day inside. We just went shopping, bought light bulbs and orange juice. We're pretty well rested. Our new roommate is totally fine. Monica was here last night. Pretty much things are going okay in the house of Hoffer and Trevitt at the moment.
It's a nice time. We're getting ready to have a nice summer. It's going to get a whole lot less nice when it's hot as hell.
Oh, that's what.
How are we going to record these episodes when it's hot as hell?
We're going to swelter through them and suffer.
Yeah, we're going to be so bitter, you guys. We're going to be a lot much less.
We're going to be a lot much. We're going to be a lot much.
Oh yeah.
We'll also be nude. I mean, of necessity.
It seems likely.
But I mean, I guess the upshot of this is that, in a sort of Tolstoyan fashion, since things are going all right, what is there to talk about, really?
Nothing. Well, media. This is a show for talking about media.
But have we experienced any media lately?
I don't think we have.
I
don't think we've collectively experienced any media lately.
Je suis le chat.
I have experienced some media recently. I played the game Fracked OSC. I found it okay. I thought the final puzzle was a bit of a mess. I've watched some TV, probably. I've been watching The Americans. I talked about that for a while.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Yeah. Nothing you really want to hear me talk about.
I think that we're pretty much SOL on that front, unfortunately.
Let's talk more about Star Trek. Let's ask a bunch of Star Trek questions. What do they do with the glasses after they finish drinking from them? Do you think they just put them back in the replicator? They turn back into energy? That makes the most sense, but do we ever actually see them do that? How do they go to the bathroom on the holodeck? What time do they all go to bed? I know the answers to some of these. But, there's so many questions. It's a universe rich with mystery.
I can't sustain this. I'm afraid that I just cannot sustain this. Not today. Not now. Not after all we've been through. I cannot.
I'm just excited that the death of Jennifer Sisko is coming to us. Here it is on the screen again.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna totally. It's in the mail. I got the message that it is totally in the mail, along with a mystery T-shirt for me.
It's hard for me to contain my excitement. This is something I've wanted for so long.
Listen to Josh's voice.
It's hard for me to contain my excitement.
It's quivering. It's quivering with a certain abstract joy.
It's difficult for me to contain my excitement.
How are we going to put it up on the wall, Josh?
I don't know. I've been wondering that.
Are we going to use thumbtacks that carefully hold it in place without actually piercing its flesh?
God, I don't know.
Are we going to...
The frame is probably going to be another $50, right?
More than that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we can't really do the frame thing unless Monica volunteered to put it together.
It's possible.
I think that it needs to go on the wall as soon as we get it is the thing.
Yeah, it's tricky.
We could just do, the thing about going the masking tape route is that it's only, visible from the back.
Yeah.
And if we don't care about, the preservation of the thing,
as long as the front looks
piece,
okay, yeah.
then we can eventually get it, frame it or get it framed.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't spring for the super high quality print or anything.
Nope, we didn't get it on canvas, which was an actual option.
Yes, that would have been pretty magnificent. But Anyway, I'll take it off the screen. I'm just kidding. It wasn't really there that whole time. I wish it was.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. So, we've got a starry night ahead of us, driving to a country I forget the name of.
I think it's Germany.
Is it?
Yes.
I thought it was like...
Pretty sure it's Germany.
Yeah, you're right.
The country of Germany. Deutschland.
Yes, I was about to say that. I was just about to say Deutschland.
Let's talk about the ethics of pornography.
The ethics of murdography? Is that
No.
the study of murder?
No, pornography.
Oh, pornography.
The ethics of pornography.
Okay. I was going to say the ethics of murdography.
Do you think it's possible for pornography to be ethically produced, Josh?
I think it's possible, yes.
Do you think that it's possible in America? Do you think it's possible under capitalism?
Video pornography? I mean, non-video pornography, yes.
Right.
Clearly. Video pornography probably yes. If they're like, I feel like this isn't. I don't know the details here, but I would imagine that it's easier to do like gay porn ethically.
Oh, because it doesn't.
There's much less of an exploitation.
Fall into
aspect
the
there.
particular history of economic exploitation of female sexuality.
Right.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I could be wrong. It could be that there's some way in which gay porn is really problematic that I don't know about.
I mean, I'm certain that every kind of porn is probably pretty problematic just because of the way that it's produced. These industries are not, particularly designed for the well-being of their participants, unfortunately.
Right.
But how about like your homebrew porn? I'm doing it in my bathroom and putting it on the internet for free, kind of porn.
I mean,
Is this in some way reprehensible, or
no? It's just a difficult question.
Is a lady who produces porn for her own self being empowering, or is she a fifth column for the cause of?
It really depends on how you are looking at
how you were looking at it.
Yes, I mean,
and what you were doing at the time.
If we are really going to address this philosophically, I subscribe to the philosophy that there can be no ethical transactions in our current capitalism, because
this strikes me as a bit of a dodge.
Because all wealth has a questionable
is morally
history.
compromised.
Yes,
right.
there needs to be at least one complete redistribution before we can start on a clean slate.
So we've committed on the way home just now. We committed several ethical breaches in our purchase of cantaloupe chunks,
or at least we were
complicit.
We were in some way intertwining ourselves with an ethically compromised system.
Yeah, man, I don't want to think about where my fruits came from.
Right. But same can be said of pornography, and on that level, like if we're just, I'm not trying to dodge the question. I'm just trying to anticipate, like how deep this rabbit hole could go. In theory, I can imagine someone. I don't know if I'd call it empowering. I mean, there is feminist porn out there. I'm aware of the existence of that, but I don't know anything about it besides that.
Right. It is.
I don't know what it looks like.
But there is porn that is at least branded as being A, ethically produced, and B, being feminist.
Yes, I mean the people are making the effort, and maybe I'd really like that porn if I saw it. I have no idea. I mean, is it porn if I don't like it?
Is it pornography if it doesn't turn Josh Trevor on? Is that the question?
It is the question. I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you have an answer to this? The question about me and porn?
About whether it's porn if you don't like it? I think it probably is still porn, even if it leaves you cold.
Is it porn if it leaves everybody cold?
It's art, probably, at that point, if it leaves everybody cold. At least that's what Lawrence von Trier is hoping. I asked this because it's... are y'all familiar with the webcomic called Sinfest?
I am.
Yeah. Sinfest is an interesting one. Sinfest is one of, the first generation of webcomics first generation of, webcomics that went big.
Right.
It's a daily strip with, big old nice Sunday comics, and that's more recent edition, but it's been running for years, literally years. It had, a print collection back in the day.
Oops, I thought I was on cruise control, but I was slowing down. Go on.
And the deal was that it was sort of your standard, like, the world is a wonderful place, kind of wide-eyed and starry, comic strip, but it was, like, super politically incorrect. It was basically like a kind of raunchier Bloom County to begin with. Its Bloom County influence was definitely really well worn on its old sleeve. And people were really into it, and then people sort of drifted away because the thing that happened with strip comics happened to it, which is that it got you're right
got the
there.
hiccups.
Which is that it became very samey and kept repeating the same jokes over and over again. But then something happened at some point, and the author had some sort of come-to-Jesus moment with himself and discovered feminism, essentially.
Oh.
I should say the author's male. He's a male Japanese-American dude. You have hiccups, Josh.
I do.
Are you hiccuping during my spiel?
I am.
You can't hiccup when you're driving fireworks around. It's a recipe for disaster.
Don't remind me about the fireworks.
Anywho, so he had a bit of a come to Jesus moment, and he had done a lot of comics about like asses and about and about women leading men on, and the sort of women were kind of a source of like the titular sin in Sinfest. Josh is really suffering over here, guys. I wish you could see this. Trying to hiccup silently.
I'm gonna hold my breath
being
now.
Racked with full body paroxysms. Well, it's a good thing that I have a lot more to say about that. But he had, at some point, he had this kind of like realization that feminism was a thing, and it seemed to coincide with a breakup that he had. You don't want to read too much into this kind of thing, but he did. There's some like autobiographical bits and pieces in here in the strips that goes along, despite the fact that essentially there's no other information on the website, which hasn't been updated since like before Web 2.0 happened.
Besides the comic strips.
Besides the comic strips, which update relatively regularly. The site has spyware on it. It's essentially like a graveyard that is only kept updated by the fact that he keeps putting up these comics. And so he was like, all of a sudden, it became a feminist comic, and in particular, it became a radical feminist comic. He introduced these characters who were like sort of male excluding, essentially politically radical revolutionary feminists, and they sort of became the heroes of the story. His main female main character from way back like underwent a complete sort of redesign transformation to look as androgynous as possible. As do all of these radical feminists. They all look as androgynous as possible.
Are the Devil Girls like still?
The Devil Girls are still super like. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't mean that he hasn't stopped drawing sexy women, because he has not stopped drawing sexy women. He's just making them sort of the battleground on which this fight is fought.
I see.
With your, you got your collaborators, and then you got your people who are being exploited, and then you got, your people who don't know any better, and these are all sort of...
This all sounds pretty terrible.
Yeah, it is very terrible, and a thing that he keeps coming back to is how pornography is essentially if not the root of this evil, of the evil between men and women in society. It is like the major... it's the major, route by which men keep women in control. It's like the commodification of women essentially is pornography writ large.
Okay.
In society, and so he makes all these anti-porn comics, which do not sit well with the current generation of feminists, who tend to be
sex positive.
Well, I mean, there's this. It being the internet age, we've now sort of gone beyond this idea of like first wave, second wave, third wave feminism.
Right.
Which Josh, can you remind the people what first wave, second wave, and third wave feminism are?
Only barely. I wouldn't trust myself to do that.
Oh boy, I think that we need to have the Wikipedia page open if we're going to do this.
We're running on the water.
What does that mean?
It's from a song. I can't remember the name of the movie it's from.
Part of the problem is that you often don't get like.
I didn't realize we were going to get theoretical. I would have prepared.
Well, I didn't. I had no idea what we were going to be talking about before we started talking about this. So.
That I was singing of the song from some movie about like these women in the 80s who cut their hair short and get into business and wear suits.
Sisters be doing it for themselves.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
That's either second or third or first wave. It's some wave. It's one of them waves.
Yeah. So essentially the place where Sinfest is stuck in second wave feminism.
Mm-hmm.
Feminism now is closer in like sort of Tumblr feminism. I mean, well, is completely deranged right now because it's been essentially subsumed by the war over gender identity.
Mm-hmm.
But but sort of your current standard feminism has more in common with third wave feminism, which is all about sort of reclaiming female sexuality as being something that can be wielded by women.
Is this something you just confirmed by looking at the Wikipedia page?
Yes, I did. I mean,
cool.
I'm not like so Tat has decided, Tatsia, the guy who writes this comic, has essentially decided to, stop short of that.
Okay. Maybe in a few years he'll encounter that idea.
Well, I mean,
he'll draw all his characters as like shameful sluts again.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the question, right? It's like, I think that from the very beginning, like the thing that underpinned the comic was guilt about sex, and like.
So when
on the one hand,
one thing I was never sure about this comic is it plays with a lot of Judeo-Christian and also Buddhists and just various religious imagery,
right?
And I can never really tell what stance it was taking on that stuff, or what relationship it has with it.
Whether it was satirical completely or whether,
right. I mean, this is a comic in which like Jesus and Buddha have like a cartoon rivalry, like a Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner thing, if I'm not mistaken.
There was occasionally a little bit of something of that in it.
Yeah.
The feeling that I get is that he is one of those folks who was brought up seriously religious and has been dealing with that in various ways up to this point, and sort of his initial rebellion against that by just being silly about it has sort of spawned into this. There's nothing like people who have ideology will seek ideology further, and like you need a stepping off point. And particularly if you're a Christian, I think that adopting another ideology where you, by your very nature, are doomed from the beginning as a sinner, in this case by virtue of maleness,
right? Makes a lot of sense.
Is but it's interesting. It's because like he's taking these tropes that he's doing these comics about from like modern, feminism and modern discussions about gender, but he's coming at it from this essentially antediluvian viewpoint.
Right.
Making him a big weirdo.
Yes.
One of those big weirdos that we like to track on the internet. But it's always, but whenever something like this comes up about the inherent good or evil of porn, it's always, I find that it's useful to come back and sort of think about what pornography is, where the pornography that you consume is coming from, and stick to fan fiction. That's what I say.
Yes, stick to erotic role play.
Yeah.
Stick to
erotic fan fiction is not only non-exploitative, but it is, you are actually sticking it to the man by stealing their IP and jacking off to it.
Stick with Stick with, like, finding a single erotic pen pal whose face you will never see.
Yes.
And
do it like
whose gender you will never ascertain.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent.
Send them actual letters. Actual handwritten letters.
In which you discuss hypothetical body parts.
Yes.
Mm.
Scenarios.
Yep. Novellas. Poetry.
Yes. All sorts of...
I would be surprised if there wasn't some sort of movement in place that is doing the exact thing that you described.
I'm sure that some people do it.
Mm-hmm. Just like, try... we're not being prudes here. Like, if you look at the correspondence of James Joyce, you'll know that there's absolutely nothing in here.
He went a step beyond what I just described. He basically just oh god, I don't even know how to describe that shit.
You'll probably best not to. If you want to know, you probably already know.
Yeah. There's something vicious about James Joyce's letters to his wife, which presumably his wife enjoyed. That's always the assumption I've had.
Well, this is the difficult thing with, like, trying to stand up in front of, like, somebody like Katsuya, who is, and this is actually a trope that I see in a lot of straight up fiction by people who aren't freaks.
Right.
Is just the basic sort of unreasonable one-to-one idea that sexualized violence or violent sex is just the clearest and least abstract expression of how violence is inherent in the relations between genders, and that if you are a sadist sexually, then you are you're basically announcing to the world that you're a terrible manipulative human being.
Right. I mean, the things in the kink community, there are terms for people who are dominant and also creepy about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are terms for that because it's not,
it's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon, but it's also not a
it's also
thing
not
that is 100% true of absolutely everybody who's
right.
involved.
It's to be avoided by people who like to play the submissive role, and they know that, and it's all pretty healthy generally.
Well, it's I would say that it's certainly no less likely to be healthy than any given,
right?
The fucking fraught business of trying to have a sexual and romantic connection with somebody who is basically on the other side of centuries of oppression from you.
Yes.
But
we must be in Germany because look how fast everybody's going.
And look at what we're talking about. But yeah, no, there's the definite, like, immediate idea that that is one of the faces of evil in the world, which does not appear to be true. Right. I forget how we got onto the subject. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, James Joyce and sort of the vicious glee of his correspondence. And, like, yeah, my assumption as well is that was part of a thing that they had going, right? But it's difficult to analyze that both in light of the culture as it was then and also in light of culture as it was in James Joyce's head, which may not resemble anything resembling any culture that ever existed.
James Joyce was... well, he was brilliant.
It took me 15 years to write Finnegan's Wake. It should take you at least as long to read it. Says James Joyce.
He was a man deeply involved with writing. And, I don't know, his letters to his wife were pretty high effort.
Yep.
Never heard any of those terms anywhere else.
He did like to make up his own language. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Herein we celebrate, I suppose, the folks who are working in pornography and sexuality in ways that are not problematic and are reclamatory and have to face backlash not only from the kind of patriarchal shit that they are challenging, but also from people on the feminist movement and in general out in the world who think that sex is essentially inherently evil.
Yeah, I wish I knew enough about porn to have the first idea what non-exploitative porn would look like.
Well,
and whether or not any of the porn I've ever seen has been it. I mean, I have no
If somebody wants to send Josh a link,
I'll put it in the description.
yeah,
I'll just put some up right now.
that may be unwise. I don't know. I have friends who write erotica for either for a living or for shits and giggles. It's really interesting, like to read. To be a reader for somebody, like to be sort of a better beta reader almost for somebody's erotica, when it is something that is you were not personally into. This is an experience I had with my friend Xander, I think is the name that I'll use because that's the name he uses for his publications. Who is always like very enthusiastic to have me read his stuff when it's like, there's a lot of like knives involved.
That turned too hard. Oh, I survived. And
knives and combat boots, which is, not entirely copacetic to my understanding of what is erotic. But it's like, you can tell within the writing that it's done with consideration and rigor.
Right.
I feel like even if you are not like personally bound up, maybe even more so if you're not personally bound up in the hot and heaviness of what's going on, as a critical actor, you can sort of begin to unwrap these things.
Right.
And I think the first step to being able to be like subjectively critical about this shit is that you have you have to both be able to mitigate both your positive and your negative responses to it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
If such there be, to like put aside whatever either squick or humana. Those are the opposites. The opposite poles of response. Yes. The squick and the humana.
Those are units of measurement.
Exactly, and
50 kilo squicks.
50 kilo squick.
1 mega humana.
To be cognizant of the other shit that might or might not be going on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for carrying that for so long.
You were hiccuping through quite a lot of it.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is... Okay, here's my opinion. If it's about Kirk and Spock, it passes everything. There's nothing wrong that can be done with Kirk and Spock kissing one another. Oh,
what
someone's going to prove me wrong.
I'm sure that I can come up with, like, incredibly racist...
Yes.
TOS / incredibly libertarian. I mean, I'm sure there must be the TOS / equivalent of Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality.
Gene Roddenberry himself was practically making like completely unethical porn for most of the time he was making Star Trek. Like every time he brought on a female guest star, it was so he could sleep with them.
So Kirk could.
No. So Gene Roddenberry
himself could.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is while he had a wife.
Right.
Who I remind you played Laxwana Troy. That poor woman.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Yeah. No. This is why Reclamation. I was serious when I said that that fan work is like kind of seriously important.
Yeah.
In this regard, because you have to. There has to be a way to take what's valuable in this stuff and then to push back against stuff that's written into the DNA. I mean, any like science fiction that was written like, well, I don't want to say any. There are exceptions. There are your Peter Beagles out there who are non-terrible, but like that was written more than 10 years ago. It's just going to have like all of this sort of exploitative or dehumanizing shit, and it's very DNA.
Yeah.
And.
But, the people, the thing, like, Star Trek might have been a vehicle for Gene Roddenberry to be a scumbag. Like, did you also know that,
It was also a vehicle for him to transmit liberal views.
Yes. Like, it's very odd. He's a very odd man. Like, I
don't know,
did you know that,
sorry, go ahead.
Did you know that he wrote lyrics for the theme song?
Yes, I did.
And... Hey audience, did you know that Gene Roddenberry wrote lyrics for the original Star Trek theme song?
If you're not going to sing them right now, then
I would if I pull them up and I'll sing them. But yeah, the reason he wrote these lyrics was so that he could not put them on the show, but so that he could claim royalties and take them away from the person who actually wrote the song. Because the credits had to read lyrics by Gene Roddenberry. Because there were official lyrics and they're the worst lyrics ever. Snopes?
Yeah, it was the first result that came up, man.
I just dinged someone with my...
Fireworks?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
They're fine.
Beyond the rim of the starlight.
Okay, I can't actually do this while driving my truck.
Love is wandering in starflight. I know he'll find in star-clustered reaches.
Love!
Strange love a star woman teaches.
Strange love, star. I don't even know how that's supposed to work with the
Yeah.
song. I know his journey ends
Never. His Star Trek will go on forever. But tell him while he wanders his starry sea, remember me.
Remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
So he could steal their money.
I know, but it's just such an incredible way to steal somebody's money.
But this is
it's such
also-
a fuck you in the face of everything else.
This is the guy who, like, I can't remember her name. The woman who played Uhura, whose name I usually know.
Jesus.
She was considering leaving the show for a while, and the way she tells the story, she told this to Gene Roddenberry, and Gene Roddenberry said, "Can you see what I'm trying to do?" And so she took a day to think about it, and then she went out someplace, and she saw Martin Luther King Jr., and she told him her very same concerns. And Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Can you see what that man is trying to do?"
Both of them being men.
Yes.
Her name is Janelle Nichols, and the character is Uhura, not Uhuru.
I didn't say Uhuru.
You did.
I said Uhura. Uhura. Uhura.
I really enjoy the fact that I've been trying with all of my heart to talk about porn this time, and yet here we are talking about Star Trek again.
I feel like it was because of Kirk and Spock. We were talking about fan fiction.
Kirk
It was a
and
completely
Spock.
reasonable
Kirk
segue.
and Spock. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, the moral of the story is, I suppose, that we make those compromises that we must under the circumstances. But the great thing about the internet is that you no longer have these gatekeeping fucks necessarily.
Yeah.
You can actually do what you want to do. All you have to worry about then is the collective death and rape threat, tidal wave from the...
And the question of
Dude,
whether or not
Rosie,
anyone
trying
is ever going to see your shit.
Well, saying bad things about dudes in video games is a great way to get a lot of people to
True.
see your shit.
True. Is Dark Souls 2 the worst game ever made?
Clearly not. Do you know the Weather Channel website? It sent me a little survey.
Oh, yeah?
And it was a great opportunity to tell them exactly what I thought.
About what?
Oh, about their new style.
What's their new style?
Oh, let me read you some genuine headlines from the Weather Channel. Dozens hid in here.
Oh my god.
8 souls lost in blue abyss. Twister from hell.
Holy fuck, they're a
Shocking
tabloid.
changes to your food.
The weather tabloid. Oh.
Shark tries to eat what?
Dog saves toddler from cloud? Did that say from cloud?
Cold.
Okay.
Cold. There aren't any real good ones in here, unfortunately.
World's strangest beaches. Photos.
Mhm.
Fun. Goodbye, mama.
Fire tornadoes that will take your breath away. And so forth. They've been getting... This is actually generally better than the way that it has been recently.
50.
Perhaps in response to the survey that they sent out.
Jesus.
Treasus.
So it's all clickbait.
Summer's
now.
most disgusting germ hotspots. The worst city for asthma, with worst in capital letters. Avoid these hidden heart hazards.
They really are capitalizing on these things, aren't they?
They are.
You're not just...
Everything that I shouted there was in all caps.
He's not shouting random words.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Anyway, so yeah. How did we get on the Weather
I
Channel?
have no idea. I think you were taking that one somewhere, man.
Oh, fuck. Where did we take it from, though? Clickbait. We were talking about clickbait.
Yeah, I did the Dark Souls 2 thing.
Oh, yeah, the Dark Souls 2 is the clickbait headline, and we were talking about ways to get people's eyes on you. And, right. So, Josh, do you think masculinity in itself is negative?
No.
Good. This is a discussion that has been legitimately happening on the internet lately.
Yeah. I mean,
Are we just saying that because we're men?
Possibly. I mean, I definitely think there's something to the argument that some, like, fundamental aspects of what we call masculinity have their problematic sides.
No doubt.
And that's worth talking about. But if you're going to start talking about it by saying, like, men are shit and we need to abolish masculinity entirely, you probably have a point. But
that's not even what I'm hearing. It's that the argument that has been being floated around by this particular person, and which has been getting a lot of attention lately in the circles that I follow, has been A, men are shit. It's like, we knew that.
Yeah.
B, if you're a man and you feel bad, it's probably because you actually should be trans. C, being trans is good anyway, and you'll be much less morally compromised if you are trans.
Right.
So you should probably become a woman. Anyway. D, people who are women and are transmasculine, or who were women and are transmasculine, are doing something that's completely incomprehensible, and are fifth columnists and are trying to hop on this this masculinity train and are feeding into everything negative about society.
Well, that's easily the worst part of all that.
Yeah, that's the part that they don't say out loud, but
Yeah.
which is absolutely fucking implicit in what she is saying. And as somebody who knows and cares about and is friends with a lot of like transmasculine, genderqueer, other types, it makes me very angry.
Yeah.
Very angry. And but as a cishet white male, or close enough to any of those categories for it to be essentially unimportant rounding to say that, it's not. I feel like it's not my place to say anything, because I don't want to be in the position of having to,
Yeah, but then
having to
why did
defend-
you just invite me to say things about it?
Oh,
Oh, God.
There go the fireworks.
Oh, too much gender talk.
Because we didn't think of anything to talk about this time, and so this is the uncomfortable episode.
Yeah.
We got like 23 minutes on this. Also, I just kind of wanted to alert folks who might not be aware of these kinds of discussions that are happening on Tumblr, that these are the kinds of discussions that are happening on Tumblr.
Yeah, stay off Tumblr, guys. It's a nightmare. Unless you want to have this kind of discussion, like if you feel like participating, then please, come.
But like, for the record, based on and in spite of everything that we've said here, I think that it's definitely true that as a dude you have to be on your toes.
Oh yeah.
You have to think about everything that you do. You have to think about everything you say. You have to.
Just like with economics, we're all implicated.
We're all implicated, and that means that you got to tread carefully and think about the decisions that you make. But the thing is, what I am seeing here is that becoming trans is being pitched as a way to not have to think about that shit anymore.
Yeah, that's...
And the very fact that she is saying these things demonstrates that is not true.
Right.
We are, everybody is fucking wrapped up in this shit, and everybody is fucking wrapped up in privilege. I mean, this person is white.
Right.
Clearly. And lives in, anyway. And, you can't make it easier by putting down your privilege. That privilege will stay with you no matter what the hell you do, no matter how you suffer, no matter how much of a target you make yourself. The privilege that you were born with, that you grew up with, the assumptions that you have,
right,
stays with you, and dealing with that is a lifelong thing.
Good message there.
That's me saying that it's hard.
It's hard to be privileged.
Yeah, woe is me.
That is not what you were saying.
Woe is me.
That is not what you were saying at all. Let's be honest. You were saying...
Let's have some sympathy for the white men who tried so hard
why are you undercutting your own good point?
Violent.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if anyone who wants to disagree with us is going to listen to this episode, that is what they're going to accuse you of having just said. But it is not what you just said.
It is not what I
you
just
said.
said.
That the privileged, the privileged are have a duty to check their privilege. I mean, that's like the
And
most basic.
It's like the most basic fucking thing.
Yeah.
We keep losing track of it, and it's like we keep people are like working arounds, and people are like, I refuse to apologize. I'm going to stand up for my I'm the grandson of immigrants, and no, it doesn't work that way. You don't inherit a pass.
I like this bridge that we probably can't ever actually drive over. See, that thing's pretty cool.
It is. That's really cool. I like Köln.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're coming here and bringing them fireworks so that they can celebrate, Köln's Day or whatever it is.
Oktoberfest.
Yes, just in time for Oktoberfest. Where they set off fireworks for Oktoberfest?
I don't know. It's probably Germany.
Yeah, okay. Let's go into the Pospo, or whatever the hell this is.
Isn't Pospo a food thing in this game?
Posped.
No, Posped's a general good. I don't know what Posped is. It's like, I think it's like a supermarket. Do they sell
Fireworks?
fireworks
I mean,
in German supermarkets?
They used to sell fire back in...
I think Posped is like this universe's version of Tesco.
That makes sense. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Fireworks are treated way differently, even within different states of the U.S. So
Yeah.
You can just you can live in a state where fireworks are completely legal, and then
This is one of
just
those
drive
parking
across the
spaces.
border to a giant barn full of explosives.
This is one of those parking spaces where we don't have a lot of room. I hate these.
You can do it. You can do
Let's
it.
get it in one try.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
One try.
You can do it. We
One
can make
try.
it if we try.
One try. Oh, no. Yes! Well, yeah, basically I just need to go forward a little.
Just inch. Yeah! You're getting better at that. Good work. You only dinged your fireworks a little
I
bit.
think I only damaged my truck. I'm not sure about that, though. Oh, well.
Yeah. Regardless. That was an awkward episode.
I hope it wasn't too fraught for you guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.